welcome everyone. I'm Tamilian. I grew up in the 70s and 80s in Pondicherry. And at that time, the country was experiencing what we used to joke as the Hindu rate of growth, which is about 2 or 3%. And Dr. Velimoni said, right, grow or go. Since India wasn't growing, I decided to go. So in 1989, I left India. I went to study in France. And then in 1999, I immigrated to US. And within 2 years, the motherland began to call me back. So I was an analyst at a technology research firm called Futurist Research in Boston. So in 2001, I began to come back to India to study the growth of the Indian IT sector. And I have become totally amazed in the 2000s how fast Indian economy began to grow. So much that, as you recall, in 2007, it was a proud moment for all of us Indians when India became a $1 trillion economy. But today, a single state, Tamil Nadu, now aspires to become a $1 trillion economy. That's something we should be proud about. At the same time, I'm a bit nervous because I'm not convinced we will be able to achieve that without some difficulties. What are the difficulties? First of all, 54% of India, most districts actually in Tamil Nadu, are already facing very severe water stress. And a few months ago, there was this landmark study published by the researchers at Azim Premji University that predict that over the next 12, 13 years, over 500 districts across India, including Tamil Nadu, will be experiencing a temperature increase of 1 degree Celsius or more. So that may sound nothing 1 degree or 1 degree 0.5, but it could be devastating for example, the 48% workers in India who live outdoors, particularly in the southern coastal areas, who are going to be suffering because humidity is going to become a huge problem in coming decade. And as I said, particularly several districts in Tamil Nadu are highly vulnerable to climate change. So given this kind of harsh reality, right, the question is how Indian states like Tamil Nadu can achieve high growth while also dealing with this worsening climate crisis? Some say the solution is what is called decoupling, that is, build an economy that keeps growing while reducing emissions at the same time. But I believe that this strategy of doing more with less is not enough. We Indians must do better with less. Instead of decoupling, we must tightly recouple the economy with people, places, and nature. We need to boldly build what I call a frugal economy that creates greater economic and social and ecological value while minimizing waste and emissions at the same time. So in essence, a frugal economy does better with less. This frugal economy is no utopia. Actually, it's rapidly emerging and is being supported by 3 core pillars that I will delve into today. And a new generation of conscious consumers and innovators are accelerating the rise of this frugal economy. So let's look at the first pillar of the frugal economy, which is business to business or B2B sharing. Imagine companies stop competing and learn to cooperate and share the resources. This is already happening in Denmark. In the Kalundborg Eco-Industrial Park, a dozen companies co-located share the energy, water, and waste materials with each other in a symbiotic way. As a matter of fact, this mutually beneficial sharing is known as industrial symbiosis. Flow2 is a B2B sharing platform that enables hospitals, since we talked about hospitals, to share the underused equipment and services with each other. They also help construction companies in Belgium to share the underutilized equipment. Reapply is a Chicago-based startup that is helping today cities and states across America to build what they call reuse marketplaces. Each marketplace connects companies located in the same area so they can share and reuse each other's idle assets. By reusing existing resources, companies can reduce waste, which is good for the planet, and they also save money, which is great for the bottom line. So as you can see, reusing is frugal because it saves money and the planet. Now, let's come back to India here. The great news is that there are many startups now who are using AI to build digital platforms that enable Indian companies, particularly small, medium businesses, to share their manufacturing and logistics capacity and services. For instance, Vahak is an online marketplace that connects small truck owners with carriers, with shippers, sorry. And they do two things that create two benefits. One is by aggregating multiple shipments in a single truck load, they increase the truck's fill rates, which creates more income for small carriers. And they also reduce emissions by optimizing the freight routes. Zedberg is an on-demand industrial marketplace. They connect thousands of small, medium manufacturers across India with big companies. In doing so, they help small industrial companies to keep operating at full capacity. And today, they're also helping renewable energy companies to rapidly increase their manufacturing output without owning factories. So far, I gave you examples of how companies can share the physical resources like underused equipment, truck space, or manufacturing capacity. But some visionary companies are now learning to share the intangible resources like employees and intellectual property for the greater good. Colmi Open is the largest producer of facial masks in France. In 2020, when COVID struck, Colmi Open did not have in-house the industrial expertise to rapidly reconfigure the factory processes and increase the production to meet the high demand for masks. But they got a bold idea. Why not borrow employees from other companies? Scania, which is a big truck manufacturer located nearby, shared their supply chain experts with Colmi Open, who used their expertise to develop mass production in record time, saving thousands of lives. What's interesting is that Colmi Open took advantage of a B2B sharing platform that was set up in a proactive way by the regional government in Western France, where they're located. And the objective of this B2B platform was to enable local companies to share all kinds of resources, including employees, as a way to preserve jobs and retain precious know-how and skills within the region so they don't leave. Now, imagine what if across all districts in Tamil Nadu, we could build these B2B sharing platforms. We can enable local companies to share the physical but also human resources that will increase collaboratively both the value and the impact. These digital platforms can also help share knowledge. For instance, Digital Green is an online platform that enables farmers to share agricultural best practices and proven farmer techniques across different regions. Now, this all looks good from a social and even economic perspective, but you might be wondering, like, a B2B sharing, right? Why should we care about as Indians and Tamilians? Well, because there's a lot of money to be made, actually trillions of dollars. For example, according to the consulting firm PwC, the consumer-to-consumer sharing economy led by Ola, Uber, Airbnb will become a $335 billion in 2025. But B2B transactions tend to be 10 to 12 times bigger in value and volume compared to C2C activities. So I predict that the business-to-business sharing economy will grow rapidly in the coming decade and exceed $3 trillion in value. And Indian states like Tamil Nadu can get a big piece of this pie if we proactively start building industry-specific or district-specific online platforms and communities that enable local companies to share the physical and intangible resources. Now let's move on to the second pillar, which is distributed manufacturing. Today, the clothes and smartphones used by Americans and Europeans are mass-produced in giant factories in China, and then they travel thousands of miles by air and sea before they reach the stores in New York and London. This mass manufacturing model is cost-efficient, but it is not sustainable, and it is not resilient because it's vulnerable to natural disasters, but also political and geopolitical shifts like the return of Trump to US, which is going to completely either cripple global supply chains or force a rapid reconfiguration of global supply chains. I think India can pioneer a distributed manufacturing model that enables companies to produce custom goods and services close to where customers live. Let me show you how this decentralized production works. Avatar is a French startup that has built an electric car that is 5 times lighter than typical EVs and consumes 3 times less energy. But the real innovation in this car is not its energy efficiency, but the way it is built. Unlike Tesla's Gigafactory, these cars will be made in a distributed network of microfactories that are located in multiple regions across India. In each of these microfactories, no bigger than a large garage, local entrepreneurs will assemble the cars for local customers. And the vision of Frédéric Mourier is to build a distributed manufacturing network that will create more economic and social impact in multiple regions across France. This MEV, microelectric vehicle market, is growing at 20% annually in France, which is twice the average rate of the car industry. And in the recent mobility show in India, focused on EVs, Hyundai and other car makers unveiled the MEVs that they plan to make in India in the next 5 years, but this is already happening very quickly in Europe. So my message to you is this: don't scale up. Instead, think about how you can scale out your manufacturing to maximize local impact. The great news is that Indian startups like Lumas are building digital solutions to scale out manufacturing across India. Lumas is building a network of nano factories that operate close to local markets. Each nano factory will produce a variety of personalized products such as healthy foods and cosmetics. And these nano factories are more water and energy efficient and more flexible than big factories, and they drastically reduce transportation cost and emissions because they're located closer to markets and customers. So you can imagine, what if we rethink our industrial policy in Tamil Nadu? I'm very proud. I actually even bought a land in Sriperumbudur before Nokia put a factory there. So in a way, maybe I anticipated that in the 90s. So I'm very proud that near Chennai, we have big factories like Foxconn. They are making, mass producing actually, a lot of standardized products, I call them, right? Which is like iPhones. But this actually benefits only a few states. But Tamil Nadu could actually think about scaling out its manufacturing that will help distribute economic opportunities across many districts in Tamil Nadu. Now, let's conclude with the third pillar, which is triple regeneration. So regeneration is just an advanced version of sustainability. A sustainable business vies to reduce its carbon footprint and reduce and recycle its waste. A regenerative business does also the same thing, but it goes one step further. It strives to boost the health, arogyam, and the vitality, Uir Chakti, of people, places, and the planet altogether. This holistic and synergistic approach is what I call triple regeneration. But excitingly, in my book actually, I will showcase several Western companies who actually are investing in crazily innovative projects to regenerate the planet. For instance, Interface, which is a world-leading carpet manufacturer, has built what they call a factory as a forest that offers positive ecosystem services like air filtration and carbon sequestration to the local environment. The global sports retailer, Decathlon, is now rolling out across France 12 Store as Nature, which regenerates the local biodiversity. See, the problem with, I'm American and French and Indian, but what is exciting for me is that, in France and US, a lot of focus is on, we screwed up the planet, God save us, we need to repair the planet, right? That's why they're doing this thing. But in India, we care as much about the planet, Prakriti, as we care about people and places. By places, I mean communities, right? So that's why what I'm discovering in India is that actually there are a lot of pioneering companies that actually are trying to regenerate people and communities as well. So Selco is a social enterprise that actually has implemented off-grid solar power systems for 1 million households across rural India, but didn't stop there. They also developed a whole range of solar power equipment that helps farmers to process crops post-harvest, which actually helps increase their income level. So this is a regenerative business that not only gives the fish clean energy to rural India, but teaches them how to fish to use clean energy to increase their income level. And Pakka is a company in Ayodhya, which actually, like the company that pool that Prahalad Kaka talked about, that actually transforms sugarcane waste into biodegradable products, packaging products for food items. And the factory is powered 100% by bioenergy. But what's interesting is that they ensure that nothing goes to waste, especially women's talent. So they appointed women at every position in the organization, which makes them a most preferred workplace for women. So to conclude, because I'm going to be kicked out, I think that sincerely that Tamil Nadu companies can leapfrog beyond sustainability and practice triple regeneration to boost the health and vitality of people, places, and the planet. To summarize, the climate crisis is calling us all to play safe and operate safely within the planetary limits. But we need to boldly stretch the limits of human imagination to develop India. And as you know, India is the birthplace of frugal innovation, which I've written about. So let us use our Jugaad's ingenuity and millennia-old Vedic wisdom to build a frugal economy that truly benefits people, places, and nature. And my sincere wish is that we all join forces to build Valarnda Tamil Nadu, develop Tamil Nadu, that does better with less. Thank you very much.